What's going on there, my friends? This is Passion for Truth, and it's been a long time, guys. It's been a really long time. I think I went on like a 3-month hiatus or something like that. I fell off the flat Earth disc and popped back up on the other side. That's not true. Earth is not a flat disc in space, and we can't fall off the edge. But we do live on a horizontal level plane, and that's not changed. Just thought you guys might like to know that. But anyways, as you can see, my girl, she's actually trying to make her way into the video right now. This is the new member of my family. This is Miss Gracie right here. Say hi, Miss Gracie. Gracie, say hi to all the people out there. That is my girlfriend and I's new family member there. We've had her for about going on 4 months now. She's almost 5 months old. So great addition to the family, man. She's been awesome. Very smart dog. It is a Bernedoodle, in case anybody's wondering. Half Bernese mountain dog, half poodle. And actually, she's a miniature Bernedoodle. So, miniature poodle with miniature Bernese mountain dog. Anywho, on to what we're going to talk about. What are we going to talk about in this video? It's been 3 months. And I just realized that like a few days ago. I went and looked at my YouTube channel, and I saw that hadn't been on in like 3 months. I'm like, geez, has it been that long? Has time really flown by that fast? And yes, it has. And there's been so much out there that's going on. So many things to talk about. I was like, what am I going to talk about? There's just so many distractions out there in this crazy world. I've been gone for so long, not to give myself any excuses. Obviously, I could have taken the time to make some videos here and there. Just been working some crazy hours, through the holidays and stuff like that. I work for UPS, so that's like the busiest time of the year for me, for postal workers in general, of course. And it just drained me mentally and physically. And I don't even know which one was worse, mentally or physically. It just was very draining. But I'm back, and just wanted to kind of throw a video together here, just give it a little rant, do what I do, put out my feelings, my thoughts, my beliefs out there into the world, right? And whoever wants to hears it, whoever doesn't, and obviously there's going to be trolls in the mix, of course. People are going to spiral and do what they do. That's fine. I welcome everybody. I'm not the type of person that's going to delete comments and, block comments and stuff like that. This is the free world. More than anything, I believe in freedom, right? I believe in true freedom. Like, we are free to not do what we want, but we're free to say what we want to an extent, right? To a pretty great extent. Now, obviously, there's some exceptions to that rule. Hey, can I talk, or are you just gonna bark at people? But anywho, yeah, she sees another dog, so that's game over, right? But what can we talk about? What things have been going on? All these distractions that are out there. I wanted to kind of talk about the Chinese spy balloon. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing, and as the truther community looked at that, it was we instantly knew that was a hoax, and we knew that it wasn't what they were trying to tell us it was, because we know that satellites are all on balloons, right? We've done our homework. We've looked into these things, and that was a huge freaking satellite on a balloon. That's what it was. And how do we how do we know that it was a Chinese balloon? Did it say China, made in China on the balloon anywhere? I didn't see it. So, it could have been one of our balloons, and it could have been one of our satelloons, I should say, that started to decrease in altitude because it's losing its helium, and they're trying to figure out a way to cover it up. That's just one little theory. It could be a weather balloon. And there's another theory for you. Or it could be, I've seen a couple of people say this, that they're trying to slowly kind of reveal to us some truths, one at a time. And they're getting us used to the idea of satellites being on balloons. So now in the future, when they start launching these things in plain sight, people are going to be, oh, that's just another damn satellite on a balloon, okay? And it's not going to be that big of a deal. This is what I know. Whatever the media is telling us, it's not that. It's not that at all. It's something far, far away from what they're telling us. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Chinese spy balloon. It's real funny that so many people out there are still falling for it, right? They believe that China's really dumb enough. It's like they got together, right, and they held a meeting and like, how can we spy on America and be inconspicuous? And somebody came up with the bright idea, we're just going to use a gigantic fucking helium balloon, and they're never going to see it, right? Yeah, because they're that stupid. Now, they might be dumb, but they're not that dumb, okay? They're not going to use a gigantic freaking balloon that can be seen with the naked eye by the masses. That's just ridiculous, right? There's millions of people out there looking up into the skies these days. So that's not commonsensical to me whatsoever. So that's just silliness. But it really does amaze me the people out there who really fall for all this stuff, and they can't use good common sense to figure out that they're being lied to. We had sports distractions, the Super Bowl, just a bunch of nonsense. I am coming to the realization that sports is nothing but just a money-making machine to the ultra-rich, as everything else is. NASA, all these other space agencies, they're just huge money laundering systems, programs, whatever you want to call them, events, just to put more money into the ultra-rich. They have the ability to control the outcome of these games. Maybe not to the extent that some people in this community like to think that they do, but they do to a certain extent. Now, can they control every aspect of the game, every play of the game, every stat of the game? No. But ultimately, they can make some big altercations at the end of a football game to change the outcome of the game. I am a firm believer of that, and this is coming from somebody who loves sports his whole life. Like I was a big football fan. Grew up a 49ers fan, and I still enjoy the sport. I still enjoy it as for entertainment purposes, but I'm more awake to the fact that these things aren't what we thought they were. They're rigged to an extent. So yeah, you had the football thing. Of course, you had the Damar Hamlin thing. That's still very bizarre to me. This guy's just so bizarre. Whether or not it's him or not, I don't know. I've looked at photos side by side with him now versus him then, and to me, it looks like the same guy. But then there's the whole cloning aspect, of course, and that's a deep rabbit hole to go down into that I just haven't studied enough to have a true opinion on it. So I'm kind of up in the air about that situation. I don't know what they're doing. It seems like they're using him for something, though. Everything about the guy is bizarre. When he talks is bizarre. And then when he was interviewed by, I think it was Michael Strahan, one of the other NFL co-host guys or whatever, they asked him, how was it that what did the doctor say about your situation, how your situation happened? And his exact reply was, that's something I don't want to go into. Now, there's only a couple of reasons why he wouldn't want to go into something like that. So, and so that I don't get a strike on my channel or don't get this video taken down, obviously I can't talk about the old Jaworski, which is the first thing, right, that comes to mind, right? You got all these athletes that are dying, passing out, suddenly, right? Died suddenly, hashtag, right? Hashtag died suddenly is becoming pretty popular now. So that's theory number one there. That one reason why he wouldn't want to talk about it. Another would be maybe he's suing the Jaworski company, or whatever one he got, whatever one he received. He's probably trying to sue them, and he doesn't want to talk about it for legal purposes. That's another theory that I have, or a theory that I've seen out there from other people. What other distractions, man? You got the train derailment in Ohio, which is wild, and I haven't really looked into that a whole lot, but that looks like that was set up somehow or another. So I don't really have much of an opinion on that. What, like the UFO shit that after the Chinese spy balloon, of course, they had like with 2 or 3 more UFOs that have been spotted and shot down all of a sudden. Like we haven't we haven't shot down a UFO in God knows how long. And every UFO that we've ever seen in a photograph has been blurry, or the video has been terrible grainy footage, and these things are so quick that we could never shoot one down. And now all of a sudden, in the last couple weeks, we've shot down 3 or 4 freaking UFOs out of nowhere. So we get this sense that maybe the alien invasion is coming upon us. What we've all been talking about for several years. Are they trying to implement that now? Or are they just trying to get the truther community to try to guess at these things and theorize on these things so that they can, quote unquote, prove us all wrong and make us all look silly? See, they're always 5 steps ahead of us, right? They're always trying to think in the matter of like a chess game. They're always so many steps ahead of us. And perhaps that's because they have the drawing board. They have the power. They have the platforms to use against us. So, the media, right? So we're at a total disadvantage. So what do we do? And I think that's kind of the direction that I want to go from now on, because I know that, a lot of people in this community can come off as like doomsday, right? We're like doomsday proponents, and we're always talking negative vibes, and perhaps we should be trying to be more solution minded and come up with our own ideas as to what we can do for ourselves to put ourselves in a better predicament, a better situation for the future, for our kids' future. So I think that's where I'm headed now, is like I want to be more solution minded, and I see people like Owen Benjamin doing his thing, building the bear community, and I think that's awesome. I think that's the real answer, is that we need to start coming together and building communities of like-minded people, and stop with all the hate. And we're not going to be able to do that if we're constantly at each other's throats. And that's the one thing I really have a sour taste in my mouth about with this community now. When I first got into this community, it was so, to me anyways, the community seemed so tight-knit, and all we cared about was finding the truth. And now it's like the well has been poisoned, and you got this group of people and going in that direction, this group of people going in that direction, and it seems like we can't even get together on anything anymore, other than the fact that we live on a level horizontal plane. It's like the one thing that we can all agree upon in this community, and everything else is completely divisive when it shouldn't be. And I'll probably just save it for another video. As an example, I'm starting to dive into the Trinity doctrine with the Bible. And, all of my life, I'll just say this, and I'm going to leave it here, and this will probably be the last bit of my video because I don't want to get too long-winded. I'll just say this: for most of my life, most of my adult life, all of my adult life, I've gone to church, even, as a teenager. So I've been going to church since I was a teenager. And then after the pandemic and everything, it opened my eyes to some certain aspects of the church that put a really, really bitter taste in my mouth and led me away from going to church. But, that doesn't mean that I stopped believing in God. That doesn't mean that, I'm still not trying to learn more about the scriptures, of course, on my own times, right? So one of the things that I am, let me delete that real quick. One of the things that I'm kind of diving into now is the Trinity. That's one of the biggest debates amongst Christians and, Bible believers. Whether or not the Trinity is a false doctrine. And I am leaning heavily to the fact that it is. After all of my life, I considered myself to be a Trinitarian. So in other words, like, I'm being open-minded enough to look into this, right? And I want to, because truth is what matters to me. Passion for Truth is the name of my channel for a reason. I don't care what other people are saying. I don't care what this community is saying or this community is saying. I want to know for myself, right? And I'm trying to be as open-minded about everything as possible. But here's what I'm not going to be. Even if after all of my study and I come to the realization that, the Trinity is a false doctrine. It was something that was taught and is still being taught in most Church of Gods today, most Christian churches today. I find that is completely and utterly a false doctrine. I'm not going to go out there and start telling everybody that believes in that they're going to hell for believing in it. And see, that's what's going on today, is like people who believe in the Trinity, that community is telling people like myself that are just looking into this, right? Or people that have been looking into it, that have studied and researched this topic thoroughly, that if we don't believe in the Trinity, then we're going to go to hell. We're damned to hell for our belief. And that's absolutely insane. And to be that type of person, you should do an about face. You should check yourself. Because I don't believe anywhere in the Bible does it say to freaking beat people over the head with the scriptures. No, it doesn't say that anywhere. Right? So I don't want to go off on like a religious tangent here, because honestly, I'm not the person for that. I don't, and this is just me being completely transparent with you and honest with you. I don't study the scriptures enough to even try to be that person. Right? So, but it is intriguing to me either way. I want to learn these things. I'm open-minded to it. And I just wish that more and more people would be open-minded to these things, number one. And number two, not be so in your face and militant. There's so many militant Bible believers out there. Trinitarians is probably, they're probably some of the worst in my opinion. Right? We have to learn to approach this with kindness in our hearts. I think that's what God wants us to do. If we are to go out there and share what's on our heart, we should do it with kindness in our heart, not bitterness and angst and arrogance and just being a downright asshole. But that's my 2 cents. But that's where I see, we're being divided in so many different ways because of our attitudes towards these things. And I don't really know what causes this, to be completely honest with you, other than this is spiritual warfare. I always go back to that. This is a spiritual war that we're in. And even the best of people with the best intentions can be misguided and can go about these things in such a way that is not positive vibrations. You know what I'm trying to say. So I'm gonna leave it there. I know I'm going off kind of on a tangent. I've talked about a lot of things in such a short time, but number one, I just wanted to come back on here and say hey to everybody. It's been a while, and I'll debate whether or not I even want to put this video up, to be completely honest with you. I'll have to go back and listen to it. But till the next one, guys, take care of each other. Learn to love one another. Always remember that you were more than likely once that person. Try to put yourself back in those shoes and say, you know, they're just going through some growing pains right now. And I'm just going to throw some seeds out there and let them grow on their own. Instead of being the in-your-face, militant, like Bible-thumping Christian, right? Don't be that person. And whether it's the Trinity debate, whether it's being a vegan, whether or not eating meat is of God, you know, all these things. There's so many militant Bible thumpers out there. Do you really think that you're going to win hearts over to your God by being that way? And I might suggest that no, you're not. You're never going to win hearts over that way. You win hearts over by being kind, being gracious, and planting seeds. So I got to try to practice what I preach in that aspect too, because I could be just as guilty sometimes, especially with, you know, flat Earth and that, and the fact that we live on a horizontal level plane. Like I could be that person sometimes to an extent, and I have to gently remind myself that, hey, I was once this person. They know not what they do, and I just need to throw some seeds out there. And if they are open-minded enough to take the bait, then they will. And we could just leave it at that. But that's my 2 cents. Want to come on here and say hi? Till the next video, guys, take care of each other. Love one another. Start thinking critically. Be kind. Till the next video, this is Passion for Truth signing out. God bless. Peace.